In this video, we'll talk about how to find the focus and the directrix of a parabola. So I have a couple examples for us to work through here. Let's check out the first one. We have the equation y minus 2 squared is equal to 4 times x plus 3. So how can we find the focus and the directrix of this parabola? Well, it helps if we can first identify whether this parabola opens up left or right or up or down. So we can see that it has the form of y minus some value squared. So it looks like this parabola follows this format right here. Y minus k squared is equal to 4p times x minus h. So the first step is we want to find what is the vertex. So let's write v. Well, when we have an equation in this form, the vertex has the coordinates h, comma k. So for this example, we can see that h is a negative 3 and k is 2. So our vertex is located at the coordinates negative 3, 2. So if we were to visualize this, negative 3, so 1, 2, 3, and positive 2, 1, 2. Here's our vertex at negative 3, 2. So to find the focus, what we need to focus on is the 4p part of the equation. The p is the distance between the vertex and the focus. So it looks like this 4 right here must be equal to this 4p right here. So we can solve for p by saying 4 is equal to 4p. How do we solve for p? Well, divide both sides by 4. So p is equal to 4 divided by 4 is just 1. So this tells us that the distance between the focus and the vertex is 1. Or in other words, we need to add a positive 1 to the vertex to get to the focus, which would be right here. So our focus will have the coordinates negative 2, positive 2. So let's write that. Focus is negative 2, positive 2. And the directrix, remember, that's in the exact opposite direction of the focus, and it's the same distance away from the vertex. So the vertex lies directly in the middle of the directrix and the focus. And remember, the directrix is a line. It's not a point. So the directrix will be right here. So that's x is equal to negative 4. So we'll write d, directrix, x is equal to negative 4. So those are our two solutions. The focus is negative 2, 2, and the directrix is the line x is equal to negative 4. Okay, let's try one more example. Let's say we have x plus 4 squared is equal to negative 6 times y plus 1. So how can we find the focus and the directrix of this equation? Well, it helps if we first recognize that this is a parabola that opens either up or down because it matches this format right here. So remember we said the vertex is equal to the coordinates h, comma k. So assuming it has this form, x minus h, that would be a negative 4. So our vertex is negative 4, comma, the k is y minus k, so that's a negative 1. So if we were to visualize this parabola, the vertex is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So the vertex is right here at negative 4, negative 1. Now, we need to figure out what is p. Remember, p is the distance between the vertex and the focus. So this 4p right here is equal to this negative 6 right here in front of the parentheses. So we can say negative 6 is equal to 4p. To solve for p, we'll divide both sides by 4, and we'll get p is equal to negative 6 over 4, which can be reduced to negative 3 over 2. So this is what we have to add to the vertex to get to the focus. So we know that our vertex has a y-coordinate of negative 1. So if we say negative 1 minus 3 halves to get to the focus, we can rewrite this negative 1 as negative 2 over 2 minus 3 over 2. So that's negative 5 over 2. So our focus will have the same x-coordinate as our vertex, so negative 4, but now the y-coordinate is negative 5 halves, or if we want to think of it as negative 2.5. So on our graph we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Our focus will be right about here, negative 2.5. So the coordinates of the focus are, let's write f is equal to, remember it has the same x-coordinate as the vertex, so a negative 4, but the y-coordinate is negative 5/2. So that's our focus. And remember, the directrix is the same distance from the focus to the vertex, but it's in the opposite direction. So it'll be somewhere up here. So to get to the directrix, we actually need to do -1 plus 3/2. Because remember, this distance was 3/2. So we need to go 3/2 in the other direction to figure out what our directrix is. So we would do -1 plus 3/2. Or if we'd like, we can write this -1 as -2/2 plus 3/2, which would be a positive 1/2. So the directrix would be the line of y equals 1/2. Remember, a directrix is always a line, it's not a point. So we'll write d directrix is going to be y equals 1/2. So we found the focus and we found the directrix.